Wisconsin National Guard soldiers are taking off for Florida this morning to help with recovery efforts after Hurricane Michael. Madison leaders are calling for the town of Madison's new hiring decision to be reversed, saying it's insensitive after showing that new hire making racist comments on video.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Friday, October 12th. The big story we were following overnight is whether or not we were going to get that hard freeze. It certainly feels cold enough out there.
Yes, it does. It's cold this morning, but clouds overnight really keeping temperatures up just a few degrees, and that's really all it takes this time of the year. A couple of degrees makes a huge difference. Satellite and radar showing you the clouds in place across southern Wisconsin. It is showing you a little bit of snow out across Iowa as well. That snow is going to sink to the south through the day today, so no snow in our forecast. There may be a few holes in the cloud cover to the west as well. The National Weather Service has kept the freeze warning in place until 9 o'clock this morning for most of southern Wisconsin. But here's a look at temperatures. Most spots are at least a couple of degrees above the freezing point. Prairie du Chien and Platteville are the closest. Take a look at Decorah, Iowa, though. They cleared out last hour and quickly dropped to 30 degrees. So any holes in the cloud cover that do develop will allow temperatures locally to get a little colder. Our temps are going to stay on the chilly side through the day, though, but it's not going to be as windy as it was yesterday. That'll be a relief. Highs will be in the low 40s this afternoon with west winds around 5 to 10, maybe up to 15 miles per hour. Here's your first alert traffic update this morning. So far, it's been very quiet on the roads. We're starting to see a few slowdowns on Park Street, but otherwise no major delays right now. No accidents report either around Dane County, so still looking good heading into Madison.
You know, I was complaining about the cold earlier. I'm walking around the newsroom in a blanket. We don't have snow like some folks, though.
Yeah, it could always be worse.
We are doing okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
We want to start this hour with breaking news. Pope Francis has officially accepted the resignation of Washington, D.C. Cardinal that is allegedly involved in a sexual abuse cover-up scandal. Cardinal Donald Worrell led the Pittsburgh diocese for 18 years. He was recently implicated in a grand jury report over allegations that he covered up what they called so-called predator priests. He's the second big-name leader in the Catholic Church who has been forced to resign in light of all of this. His predecessor, Archbishop Theodore McCarrick, was forced out over allegations he sexually abused at least 2 minors and adult seminarians, that is. Pope Francis's letter recognizes Worrell for putting the church's interests over his own personal defense. CBS This Morning is going to have much more on this breaking news coming up after 7.
Now to the other top story of the morning. At least 6 people are confirmed dead in the wake of Hurricane Michael. The system is slowing down. It's not even considered a tropical storm at this point, but it is still dragging across the Carolinas and Virginia today. Those places were just pummeled by Hurricane Florence last month. Michael is one of the strongest storms to ever make landfall in the U.S. More than 1.5 million people don't have power this morning. Some Florida residents are heading home to find little or nothing left.
A team of 12 with the Wisconsin National Guard plans to leave this morning to help with recovery efforts in Florida. Those soldiers packed up 2 Black Hawk helicopters yesterday with medical equipment and special hoists they need to save people from rooftops if necessary. Now, those rigs are so special because they can pull people up and bring them into the aircraft more easily, making that process safer for those being rescued. It's unclear how long the team from Wisconsin will be out east, but all of the guardsmen leaving today also helped out after Hurricane Florence.
Madison police say they know the 24 or so kids who are responsible for a rash of car break-ins around the area, but they can't seem to get them to stop. Police have identified a group of about 30 kids and teens who they believe are largely responsible for those recent break-ins. They say they're becoming bolder in their strategies, breaking into garages, stealing garage openers, and sometimes the car itself. But police say after they're arrested, they often end up back doing the same thing that got them in trouble in the first place.
We're very frustrated over it. We want it to get better. We don't want to have this many victims. So it is something bigger with the entire criminal justice system and the public working together. And hopefully in the months and years to come, it does get a little better.
Police are urging drivers to do their part to not be an easy target by keeping your cars and your garage doors locked. Also, be a good neighbor and keep an eye on your friends' garage doors as well.
Madison alders want the town of Madison to reconsider hiring DeForest's former police chief, who resigned after making racist comments in a video. Daniel Furseth left that department in August after that video resurfaced on YouTube. In it, you can hear Furseth in a squad car talking about a group of African-American men in a restaurant parking lot. Earlier this month, the town of Madison hired Furseth as a part-time patrol officer. Common Council President Samba Balda and 10 other alders signed a letter Wednesday saying hiring Furseth would be insensitive. Now, the town of Madison is set to be incorporated into the city of Madison and Fitchburg in the year 2022. The Badger wide receiver charged with sexual assault will be back in court next month for a final pretrial hearing as he sues the university for violating his constitutional rights. Two women say Quintez Cephas assaulted them on the same night back in April while they were drunk. Yesterday in court, Cephas pleaded not guilty to the 2 felonies he faces. He argues the acts were consensual and has now filed a lawsuit saying the UW's investigation into these allegations are preventing him from due process and also violating his right against self-incrimination. The university says it's following federal law. Cephas's lawyer says he's still compiling video evidence that will exonerate his client. He's due back in court November 13th.
We have a few First Alert traffic notes for you as you head into the weekend. Here's a live look at the Merrimack Ferry this morning. It is back open after it shut down for about 16 hours yesterday due to high winds that we saw all day. No problems with that today, though. The ferry should be back up and running all day for your Friday. And a big First Alert traffic note for Madison's east side. There's some work starting there tonight on Stoughton Road that some residents say is a long time coming.
That work will affect drivers in that area all weekend long. Christina Laurie is live along Stoughton Road this morning with more on why this closure is happening. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Danica and Leah. Starting at 8 o'clock tonight, Stoughton Road will be closed between Highway 30 and East Washington while crews work to repair this railroad crossing behind me. Now, this crossing is being repaired after multiple drivers complained about its condition. The speed limit on this part of Stoughton Road is 45 miles an hour, which drivers argue you can't safely do while maintaining control of your car or truck. Traffic is being detoured in the meantime through East Washington, the interstate, and Highway 30. While that stretch of Stoughton Road is closed, signs will be put up as well to make sure you know where to go. One southbound lane of Stoughton Road will remain open to Commercial Avenue from East Washington, as well as northbound Highway 51 from Commercial Avenue. Traffic will still be able to cross Highway 51 on Commercial Avenue, and Commercial Avenue itself will remain open in the meantime. All this work is expected to be wrapped up by 6 o'clock Monday morning, just in time for your drive to work next week. In the meantime, drivers, if you want to avoid all of this, you can just take I-90-94.
It's good advice because that's a heavily traversed area,
Yes.
and you can really kind of launch off of that railroad crossing there.
Launch.
So, yeah, you really do. Christina Laurie reporting from Stoughton Road. Thanks, Christina.
All right, 6:08 your time now. He is a viewer and an anchor favorite here at News 3, and now he's being recognized for the work he does to help kids in our area.
We introduced you to little Noah, the Cocker
Oh.
Spaniel from Mineral Point back in 2016. He was born without eyes and with deformed legs. However, he travels around area schools teaching students about bullying and tolerance. He's being honored for that work with the Dog of the Year award from the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Noah's going to receive that award next month in New York City.
Well deserved. Cutest dog I've ever seen.
He's pretty cute. Yeah, he came into the studio at one point. We all got to meet him. He's a keeper,
Love
for
him.
sure.
All right, 6:08 your time now. It is one small step for theaters and one giant leap toward Oscar nominations. That's what critics are saying, at least, about the latest movie starring Ryan Gosling as one of the most well-known astronauts of all time. Will's going to take a look at First Man after the break to see if it's truly out of this world.
Back down on Earth, it is cold, like really cold in comparison to what we've been frolicking around in all week. Hattie's got a Find the Layers kind of forecast when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning from the patio. It's cold outside this morning, but it actually doesn't feel as bad as it did yesterday with lighter winds. Now let's take a look at that 24-hour temperature trend. And yesterday, temperatures only managed to climb back into the mid-40s during the afternoon, so it was quite a chilly day. And add to that a wind chill factor with those strong west-northwesterly winds. Temperatures dropped into the 30s overnight, but they're not as cold as we initially thought. We still have an alert day in the forecast with the potential for frosty conditions or hard freeze again tonight because most locations did not get to freezing just yet. The freeze warning is still in effect, though, for most of our viewing area until 9 o'clock this morning. Low temperature trend is going to stay a little bit below normal over the coming days. The exception would be Sunday morning when temperatures are a little bit milder, but otherwise we do have some pretty cold temperatures in for those overnight forecasts. Satellite and radar showing you the clouds that hung tight across Wisconsin overnight, leading to milder temperatures. There is a storm system developing well to our south and west that's generating some precipitation across Iowa this morning. That precipitation is going to slide to the south and east. We're already starting to see that movement, so no precip in our forecast through the day today. Here's a look at our view from the WISC-TV Skycam, if you can call it that. Not much of a view this morning with clouds in place. We can't see anything just yet. Temperatures are a little bit colder than they were this time yesterday. 36 right now in Madison, 35 in the Dells. Platteville and Prairie du Chien still holding at 33. Those are the cold spots in our viewing area. Winds are light from the west this morning at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So wind chill factor, not a huge deal this morning, but it does feel like it's in the upper 20s and low 30s. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Wish that we could get rid of these clouds a little bit earlier, but I think they're going to hang tight through the morning hours right into the early afternoon. Note that future track is keeping any chance for precipitation out of the area as well. Now, a little bit later on this afternoon, as temperatures reach highs in the low to mid 40s, that's when we could start to see some clearing. That clearing trend will continue tonight. So for Friday night football at 7 p.m., temps will be in the upper 30s, dropping into the mid 30s through the game. We'll bottom out in the 20s in some spots tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast. What you'll notice with this forecast is a lot of sunshine. Just a slight chance for rain Saturday night into Sunday. Otherwise, next week looks dry from Monday all the way to the next Sunday. Lots of sunshine and even a little bit of a warming trend as well. We get back up close to 60 a week from today. And now get a check on our first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, so far quite start on the Beltline this morning. No delays showing up yet in either direction, but I would expect that westbound side to continue to pick up over the next hour or two. Checking out Dane County, there are a few brake lights showing up at the Highway 113 and Highway M intersection, along with on the northbound side of Rona Road near the Beltline ramps. No problems at all downtown. Volume shouldn't be a factor, at least for another half hour or so. And other main routes heading into Madison, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
This weekend in theaters, the director of La La Land and its star, Ryan Gosling, are teaming up yet again, this time to tell the story of Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here with a preview of First Man is our film critic, Will Loper. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lots of buzz?
Lots of buzz.
Not to name another, famous astronaut, but
Oh, gosh.
Buzz may show up, and there's some Oscar buzz surrounding this as well. And the stakes are as high as they can possibly get in the story of NASA planning a visit to the moon in the 60s. And whether it's small steps or giant leaps to get to the theater, First Man might just be worth it. Take a look.
The entire world's watching.
Do you question whether the program's worth the cost? In money and in lives?
Follow along with Neil Armstrong and NASA as they embark on a journey to land a man on the moon.
The vehicle's not safe.
We need to fail down here so we don't fail up there.
This isn't just another trip, Neil. You're not just going to work.
Do you think you're coming back?
There are risks, but we have every intention of coming back.
Somebody got a Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife? Are you kidding me?
First Man is rated PG-13.
We have serious problems.
We've got this under control.
control. You're a bunch of boys. You don't have anything under control.
Whoa.
Claire Foy from The Crown really laying down the law.
No kidding. I'm stressed out just watching that.
Yeah,
Man.
real.
I'm a little nervous because Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, I had a 90-minute panic attack up in space, and apparently this is supposed to be very immersive up in space, the landing and everything, and I'm a little nervous about that.
All right, honestly, I'll go see anything with Ryan Gosling and Kyle Chandler in it.
Yeah, and Ryan Gosling's getting a lot of buzz for his performance as well, so looking forward to it.
You've had a couple of really top tier movies according to the critics.
Yeah. Star was Born last weekend. We're getting into that season where we're getting the good stuff and getting away from the popcorn, big, not so great stuff.
Finally, we'll see you Monday for a review.
I'll be here. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Good to see you. 6:18 right now. The potential league MVP grew up a Dodgers fan, so it's only fitting that the Brewers' first chance at the World Series since Thriller was released is against the team Christian Yelich idolized as a kid. We'll take a look ahead to that Game 1 tonight.
Danica said she's going to start calling me Linus with the amount of times I'm bringing my blanket into work. What can I say, folks? It's cold. Hattie's looking at just how low the temperatures are going to go when News 3 This Morning returns.
look at satellite and radar trends, a lot of clouds in the area, keeping temperatures up a bit overnight. Can't ignore that snow that is showing up on the radar map just west of the Mississippi River Valley. No snow in our forecast today. That storm system is going to sink south of the area. Temperatures, though, closest to the Mississippi River Valley are the coldest. 33 in Prairie du Chien as well as Platteville this morning. Jumps to 36 here in Madison and Janesville. 35 this morning in the Dells. Wind chills are just a little bit lower, but the winds aren't going to be as strong as they were yesterday. So while it'll be cold at the bus stop, it actually shouldn't feel quite as bad as it did yesterday with those lighter winds. We are going to stick with quite a few clouds through the day. Look for a high of 43 degrees. Have a wonderful day.
Hattie, thank you so much. The city of Baraboo is thinking all sorts of summer thoughts and considering new public pools. According to the Baraboo News Republic, it costs up to $30,000 a year to repair pipes and pumps at the Campbell Park pool, which is, by the way, 80 years old. The paper says the Parks Department voted unanimously to pay a consulting firm to study whether it would be better to keep up the maintenance work or just put in a brand new pool. Once the analysis is done, the Parks Department can make its case to city council members to add a new or an improved pool to the budget.
6:23 your time right now. The Badger men's hockey team kicks off its regular season with a game at the Kohl Center tonight. The Badgers will host Boston College starting at 7 this evening. The Golden Eagles are coming off a top 20 season, but the Badgers did beat them in Boston last year. On the program earlier this week, head coach Tony Granato told us he's excited for the energy the freshman players are bringing to the ice, and he hopes that excitement spreads to the fans. Meanwhile, the women's hockey team is off to a 4-0 start already this year. They're going to continue that success hopefully this weekend with a pair of home games against Minnesota Duluth. That's at LeBron Arena at 2 p.m. And the Badger football team heading to Ann Arbor to face Michigan this weekend. The Badgers come into that game ranked 15th, while the Wolverines are ranked 12th. The last time the Badgers lost a conference game on the road was 2016 when they lost at Michigan. ESPN's College Game Day will be broadcasting from Ann Arbor tomorrow morning. Kickoff is at 6:30.
A busy weekend for the Badgers and a busy weekend for the Brewers. Lefty Gio Gonzalez will start for the Brew Crew tonight in Game 1 of the National League Series. He is up against 3-time Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw, who's pitching for the LA Dodgers. Game starts at 7:09 tonight at Miller Park. You can watch that over on Fox Sports 1. Milwaukee, by the way, not to jinx it, it's now 4 wins away from their first World Series appearance since 1982, and the franchise has never won that World Series title. They have a little bit of a better chance with this guy on the plate, or going up to the plate here for the Brew Crew. A group will be cheering especially loud this weekend for Christian Yelich, Milwaukee's Serbian-American population. One man who works as a translator in the city told the Associated Press he wasn't sure about Yelich's heritage because of the Americanized spelling of his last name. But after learning about his heritage last year from a friend, he said he was awestruck that a Serbian American is actually up for the league MVP, and well-deserved too.
Our executive producer, James, was telling us how his mom was wondering, who am I going to cheer for, the Brewers or the Dodgers? Because they grew up watching the Dodgers.
Right.
That is hilarious to me.
I think she'll convince the family this time around to maybe go for the Brewers.
Just this time, Yelich.
I'm thinking.
So don't waste it. All right, 6:25 your time now. A sheriff in our area is putting the man running against him in November on administrative leave. The day's top stories are coming up next.
And the latest Marquette Law School poll shows the sitting senator with a comfortable lead over her opponent in the U.S. Senate race. The two will debate again right here on WISC-TV 3. We'll share the details when News 3 This Morning continues.
A new fire station that's supposed to speed up response times might not be able to do that without the right equipment.
And part of Stoughton Road will be shut down in both directions this weekend. What crews are doing and why some drivers are calling this project long overdue.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:29 now on this Friday, October 12th. And if you were wondering if it's cold outside, all you have to do is take a look at Christina. She's got her hat on, she's got a scarf on, her gloves. I'm thinking Hattie probably looks pretty similar outside this morning.
She has her sweet leopard print scarf on,
Yes.
I think. Let's turn it over to her with a look at the forecast. Hey, Hads.
I do, yeah. Didn't break out the thick scarf, but I definitely have a scarf, and I'll be honest, I got gloves on too this morning. Temperatures are down in the 30s, although the winds aren't quite as strong as they were yesterday. So it actually, I think, feels a little better today than it did yesterday. Let's take a look at the maps this morning and show you what's happening across southern Wisconsin. Still have an alert day in the forecast. Now, most spots did not have frosty conditions this morning. Clouds overnight really kind of busted that forecast and kept temperatures up, but there is still the potential for freezing conditions tonight. So we'll leave that alert day in the forecast today into tonight. Here's a look at satellite and radar trends. Again, those clouds pretty thick across the Badger State right now, and there is some precipitation off to the west across Iowa. Now, this storm system to the west, the strongest part of that system is well to our south, and that's really going to steer the precipitation around the Badger State today. So our forecast is dry, even though it looks like that snow is getting a little close. There are no returns or no ground truth to any of that snow in northeastern Iowa right now. Now, here's a look at our current temperatures. It's coldest in Prairie du Chien and Platteville, where it's pretty close to freezing this morning. 36 here in Madison and 37 in Monroe. Day planner temperatures, our climb is a small one today, back into the low to mid 40s, topping at 43 with plenty of clouds through the day. Skies are expected to clear as we head into tonight. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. Still pretty quiet on the roads. Volume is not an issue yet here in Madison. No accidents in the area, so your travel times are still looking normal at this time of the morning. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. Maybe you are heading out of town this weekend to find that sun Hattie's talking about, and if your weekend commute takes you over to the east side along Stoughton Road, you're going to want to find some alternative plans starting tonight.
A stretch of Stoughton Road will be closed in both directions all weekend long. Christina Lori's live close to the railroad crossing where all of the work is happening. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Danica and Leah. Let's look at the silver lining here. This closure on Stoughton Road between East Washington and Highway 30 isn't expected to start until 8 o'clock tonight, and it's expected to wrap up by 6 o'clock Monday morning. So it's not expected to impact your work week commute. However, if you are heading out to the east side this weekend, crews say expect some delays. The railroad crossing behind me is being repaired here after multiple drivers complained about its condition. Traffic is being detoured through East Washington, the interstate, and Highway 30. While that stretch of Stoughton Road is closed, signs will be put up to make sure you know where to go. One southbound lane of Stoughton Road will remain open to Commercial Avenue from East Washington, as will northbound Highway 51 from Commercial Avenue. Traffic will still be able to cross Highway 51 on Commercial Avenue, and Commercial Avenue itself will remain open during this construction project. Again, it's not expected to start until 8 o'clock tonight, wrapping up by 6 o'clock Monday morning. In the meantime, if you want to just avoid this altogether, take I-90, 94. No work on that road right now.
Tina, Danica described this stretch of the road earlier today as a launch pad. I'm curious if you drove by it this morning. What did it feel like?
A launch pad, roller coaster ride.
Nice.
We heard it all from different drivers here. Not necessarily, you don't often hear drivers complaining that the speed limit is too high, right?
That's
exactly
a really good
right.
point.
Yeah.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thanks, Christina.
So Highway 30 might be a little backed up with all that work going on along Stoughton Road. The good news is the Dane County Sheriff's Office says that area has gotten safer over the past year. Deputies had a traffic enforcement campaign from January to June in what was considered a traffic crash hotspot on Highway 30, and data shows the number of crashes were down from 98 in 2017 to 86 in 2018. That's about a 12% decrease, I should say. Total injuries were down just over 45% from last year to this year, and there were no fatal crashes over that 6-month period.
A new fire station designed to speed up response times might not accomplish that at all without a new ambulance. Mayor Paul Soglin rejected a request for that ambulance at Station 14 near Stoughton Road. News 3 Investigates has been following this story since 2013. That's when a man died in an apartment fire after it took more than 10 minutes for first responders to get there. In 2015, data showed response times were especially bad for that Stoughton Road area. District 16 Alder Michael Tierney says budget concerns are the problem here. He says he's doing whatever he can to get an ambulance to that fire station as soon as possible.
New this morning, a Wisconsin deputy has been placed on administrative leave by the sheriff he's running against in November. The Post-Crescent reports Adams County Sheriff Sam Wolin placed investigator Brent York on administrative leave Wednesday, just hours before the two were set to debate. Now, Sheriff Wolin says he needs to reevaluate testimony York made 17 years ago in connection to a jailhouse beating. The Adams County District Attorney told the sheriff that York made conflicting statements about what he witnessed when a fellow officer slammed an inmate's head into the wall. The DA says the timing of all of this has nothing to do with the upcoming election.
Wisconsin's candidates for Attorney General will go head-to-head tonight in their first of 3 debates before next month's election. Incumbent Brad Schimmel and challenger Josh Kaul will meet in Madison tonight for the debate hosted by Wisconsin Public Television and Public Radio. It'll be broadcast statewide on those platforms starting at 7:30 this evening. It should run about an hour. The two will have another debate next week, Tuesday, at the Milwaukee Rotary Club. Their final debate will be on October 26th in Green Bay, a little more than a week before the election.
The two candidates for U.S. Senate running here in Wisconsin will also debate this weekend for a second time within a week. Senator Tammy Baldwin and challenger Leah Vukmir will be in Wausau tomorrow night for that debate. It's sponsored by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, and you'll be able to watch it right here on WISC-TV 3 starting at 7 o'clock. 6:35 right now. Some families have yet to hear from loved ones living on the Florida Panhandle after Hurricane Michael destroyed neighborhoods along that coast. We'll have an update on the storm and the damage in the morning sprint.
And before that first layer of rock salt goes down this winter, there's a chance to get some advice on winterizing your car. We'll tell you where and when after the break on News 3 This Morning.
Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and Linda shared this one on Facebook. It's the sun just trying so hard to break through morning fog. I know. We've seen so much clouds lately and things like that. This was probably a rare sighting for Linda, wherever this was. So thank you so much for capturing it and sharing it with us.
I'd like to hold on to summer as long as possible, so I love this picture. Thank you so much, Linda. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. Danica and I share our favorites every morning right here on the program. Now, as the cold weather begins to set in, there's an opportunity for you to get some warm clothes for free. Thanks to your generosity, we were able to collect more than 6,000 coats in our Coats for Kids campaign. Starting on Tuesday, you can stop by the Community Action Coalition building over on North Stoughton Road to get one for yourself and for your family. We have all of that information up on our website, channel3000.com.
Speaking of preparing for winter, there's an opportunity to make sure your car is ready for the cold and snow this year. The Middleton Police Department's hosting a car weatherization event tomorrow morning. It's specifically aimed at helping seniors with tips. That's at Middleton Ford from 9 to noon. Mechanics will be checking settings and safety measures to make sure everything is ready to rock and roll for the winter. You can call the number on your screen there. That's 824-7323 to make an appointment. It's beginning to feel a lot like winter, at least overnight. Hattie has cooler temperatures and says that cool air isn't going anywhere. We will get a little warmer as we head into the weekend, but hey, there's no substantial rain to talk about.
Yes.
Woohoo! Hattie's sun-filled forecast is coming up.
First, though, it's October 12th. We want to say happy birthday to little Ashley and all the kiddos turning 3. Maybe bundle up a little bit more there on your birthday. And thanks for letting us help you celebrate right here on News 3 This Morning. are just starting to see a sliver of the sunrise this morning over on Madison's west side. Going to be a bit of a blustery morning, though. Cool temperatures starting today. Might get a little bit of a warm up going into the weekend. We will check in with Hattie in just a few minutes. It is definitely football weather out there, and it is the final week for the Prep Mania High School Game of the Week. It is a battle for first place in the Capital North Conference as Lakeside Lutheran plays Lodi in Wanakee this evening. Jay Wilson's going to bring us that game live on TVW and channel3000.com. That starts tonight at 7. Some other high schoolers are taking to the football field this weekend for marching band.
Tomorrow is the Wisconsin School Music Association State Marching Band Championships, and the kids competing have been practicing for months for this moment. That right there is Sauk Prairie High School's band, one of more than 30 bands heading to UW-Whitewater for that all-day competition tomorrow. Columbus, Middleton, Milton, Platteville, and Portage will be represented as well, so good luck all of you guys. If you're a parent going to watch, you will want the blankets and a seat cushion for those aluminum benches. Hattie knows from experience that sitting and watching your kids can get pretty chilly, right, Hattie?
That is true, but I'm thinking those nice wool band uniforms will be pretty welcome for the temperatures this weekend. If you are going out to the stands tonight for Friday Night Football, again, the aluminum benches are going to be cold. Kickoff temperature 39 degrees, dropping to 36 by the fourth quarter. So if I were you, I'd bring some extra blankets. It's going to be a chilly one tonight. Skies will be clearing. Now, if you want to take advantage of some of the beautiful fall color that's showing up here across Wisconsin, here is the latest fall color report. And really, you don't have to go far outside of Madison to see some pretty good color. As you head up into Columbia County, near peak color there. Much of central and northern Wisconsin at peak. Couple of spots are already past peak in the far north woods, but still some pretty good color left. And here's the fall color report for a few specific cities that are at least pretty close or at peak color right now. Ashland is peaking, as is Green Bay. Milwaukee and Wausau are pretty close. We have another week or so here in Madison before peak color. Satellite and radar trends showing you a lot of clouds across the Badger State, and these clouds are with us all night, so temperatures are not as cold this morning as we expected. Some snow and rain across Iowa. A lot of this not actually hitting the ground right now, but this storm system is well to the south, and we're going to see that precipitation slide to the south and east, so it's going to stay out of Wisconsin for the day today. Our main concern is the potential for another cold night tonight. An alert day remains in the forecast for the potential for freezing conditions overnight tonight into Saturday morning. Again, many spots this morning are still above the freezing point. That freeze warning, though, is still in effect for southern Wisconsin until 9 o'clock this morning. Here's a look at temperatures. 36 here in Madison. 33 in Prairie du Chien and Platteville. Those are the coldest spots for our viewing area this morning. But as you can see, most everyone actually not freezing just yet. Future Track has a lot of clouds in the area today, and looks like they're going to stay put for most of the day. Heading towards the lunch hour, not much warmer than we are right now. Maybe around 40 in Madison and Watertown, as well as Janesville. Just back to 37 by lunchtime in Platteville. Skies start to clear a little bit later on this afternoon with high temperatures in the mid-40s in most locations. Future Track then for tonight, continued clearing, which is going to mean those temperatures drop off pretty quickly during the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning could be the coldest morning yet, with temperatures down in the 20s in a few spots. Here's a look at your forecast then in more detail. We have mainly dry weather, just a cold front moving through late Saturday into Sunday, bringing a slight chance for rain for that time period, but otherwise dry weather as we head into next week. Lots of sunshine and even a little bit of a warming trend for Thursday and Friday. A week from now, temperatures could be topping right near 60 degrees. Here's our pet walk forecast. This is Zoe in Roscoe, Illinois. No judgment, we've all had those nights. Look at that.
And those mornings.
Quite the stretch there, Zoe.
That's a position.
She's not going anywhere. No. Not going anywhere. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome. Stay with us. The morning sprint is up next.
6:51, time now for the morning sprint. Hattie's preparing us for a hard freeze tonight and cooler temperatures ahead.
And Christina Laurie is live on Stoughton Road telling us about a road closure you're going to want to avoid this weekend. But we start at the Vatican this morning. That's where Pope Francis has accepted the resignation of the Washington, D.C. Cardinal, who was involved in a sexual abuse cover-up. Cardinal Donald Wuerl led the Pittsburgh diocese for 18 years. He was implicated in a grand jury report over allegations he covered up for so-called predator priests. Wuerl initially downplayed that scandal and tried to protect his own record as cardinal. He will be the most prominent leader to step down from the church in the wake of that cover-up.
12 Wisconsin National Guard soldiers are heading to Florida this morning to help with Hurricane Michael recovery efforts. Those guardsmen packed up 2 Black Hawk helicopters yesterday with medical equipment and special hoists to save people from rooftops. Those rigs are exclusive to Wisconsin. They're able to bring people into the aircraft more easily and more safely. There's no word on just how long that team will be out east.
Nearly a dozen people are confirmed dead in the wake of Hurricane Michael this morning. The system is slowing down. It's not even considered a tropical storm at this point, but it is still dragging across the Carolinas and Virginia today. Those are places that were just pummeled by Hurricane Florence last month. Michael is one of the strongest storms to ever make landfall in the U.S.
Madison police are asking neighbors to take responsibility for their own safety while they try to stop a rash of car break-ins happening here in the city. Police say about 30 kids and teens are committing those crimes, but after they're arrested, they just continue breaking into garages, stealing garage openers and even cars. Police are reminding drivers again to keep cars and garage doors locked.
A Madison man is thought to be responsible for selling the gun that was used to shoot and kill a Chicago police officer earlier this year. The Chicago Tribune reports the handgun that a 4-time felon used to shoot the officer in the middle of the day can be traced back to Madison resident Thomas Cladwell. Police say the gun managed to get to Chicago from a gun shop outside Madison due to an unregulated market. Both Cladwell and Jones are both facing federal charges.
Madison alders want the town of Madison to reconsider hiring DeForest's former police chief. Daniel Furseth left the department in August after a video of him making racist comments in a squad car resurfaced on YouTube. 11 Madison alders signed a letter Wednesday saying hiring Furseth would be insensitive. The town of Madison is set to be incorporated into the city of Madison and Fitchburg over the next few years.
Badgers wide receiver Quintez Cephas is going to be back in court next month for a final pretrial hearing as he sues the university for violating his constitutional rights. 2 women say Cephas sexually assaulted them on the same night in April while they were drunk. Yesterday in court, Cephas pleaded not guilty to the 2 felonies he's facing. He's due back in court November 13th.
And on this Friday morning, we have a lot of clouds in the area, but I think Platteville has the prettiest sunrise this morning. Some pinks and purple in the sky there. Temperatures are a little chilly in Platteville, 33 degrees. But as you look across southern Wisconsin, everyone's at least above freezing this morning. Another cold night, though, on tap for tonight with freezing conditions possible. Through the day, temperatures will climb into the low 40s. We should see some clearing late today and especially lighter winds. That's your first alert forecast.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Dane County deputies say a stretch of Highway 30, once known as a crash hotspot, has actually gotten a lot safer. Data from a traffic enforcement effort during the first half of this year shows a 12% decrease in the number of crashes in that area compared to last year.
A heads up for drivers on the east side this weekend. Stoughton Road will be closed between East Washington and Highway 30 starting at 8 o'clock tonight. Crews are replacing the railroad crossing here after multiple drivers complained of its failing condition. Meantime, signs will be put up detouring traffic through East Washington, the interstate, and Highway 30 while the road is closed. One southbound lane of Stoughton Road will remain open to Commercial Avenue from East Washington, as will northbound Highway 51 from Commercial Avenue. It's expected to all reopen by 6 o'clock Monday morning.
Thank you, Christina. A transgender employee and student will both be getting money from UW-Madison after a federal judge ruled a state insurance ban is discriminatory. A federal judge ruled a ban on insurance coverage for gender-changing surgery is sexual discrimination. In response, cancer researcher Shannon Andre and graduate student Alina Boyden will receive almost $800,000 in damages.
Wisconsin's candidates for Attorney General will go head-to-head tonight in the first of 3 debates before next month's election. Incumbent Brad Schimmel And challenger Josh Cole will meet in Madison tonight for that debate. It's hosted by Wisconsin Public Television and Wisconsin Public Radio. It will be broadcast statewide on those platforms starting at 7:30 this evening. They expect it will run for about an hour.
The two candidates fighting to represent Wisconsin in the U.S. Senate will also debate this weekend, their second in just a week. Senator Tammy Baldwin and challenger Leah Vukmir will be in Wausau tomorrow night for that debate, hosted by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. You can watch it right here on News 3 starting at 7.
It is almost 6:57 right now. Let's get one more check on your Friday morning commute with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, the westbound Beltline beginning to get busier between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. It's going to add an extra minute or two this morning. Inbound John Olin, you're tapping the brakes between Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive with a couple-minute delay into the downtown area. Northbound side of Rona Road, you're slowing down prior to the Highway PD intersection. But other main routes heading into Madison, they're moving along with the usual speeds right now with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Have a great weekend.
And it is a cloudy start in most spots this morning, but those clouds keeping temperatures up just a little bit. We're in the mid-30s this morning. Day planner temperatures take us only back into the low to mid-40s this afternoon. Should see some clearing late today, but we'll be stuck with clouds this morning. And keep in mind, still an alert day with the potential for freezing conditions tonight. We may be waking up tomorrow morning in the 20s.
Oof, say it ain't so. All right, folks, stay warm this weekend. And remember, we've got that closure over on Stoughton Road starting tonight at 8 p.m. Just take the interstate, a little bit easier. Have a great weekend.